Hey boys and girls, today we're moving on to lesson 12-2 about indirect measurement. And this lesson is starts on page 673. And the question that they're asking today is, how can you find out whether the shoe or the pencil is longer without putting them next to each other? So I had mentioned yesterday's math lesson that when you want to compare the lengths, you have to line them all up at one end. But sometimes that's not always possible. I mean, these are on a piece of paper. I can't move them unless I cut them, and then I'm just making a big mess. So how can we compare them without putting them next to each other? What can you use? Circle the longer object and explain how you found out. Well, what I can use is a third object. And so for my third object today, I have a piece of red yarn or string, and I can put it up, line it up with the shoe. And when I do that, I can see that the string is longer. So that means the shoe there is shorter than the string. So I'm going to take the same string and put it up against the pencil. Line them up. It's kind of hard with the yarn. It's moving. And here, look at that. The pencil is longer than the string. So that if the pencil is longer than the string and the shoe is shorter than the string, then that means that our pencil is our longer object. And how do we find that out? We measured a third object with it. We used it, and we know, okay, that's bigger and that's smaller. So now we can compare the two. Okay, moving on to page 674. Let me move the camera a little bit for you. At the top it says, how can you compare objects when they are in different places? And he's thinking we can use one object to compare and find out which pencil's longer. So compare one pencil with the string. So here they have this piece of green string. And this blue pencil is shorter than the string. They took the same piece of string and compared the red pencil with it. And the pencil is longer than the string. So they drew conclusions there, and they said the blue pencil is shorter than the string. The red pencil is longer than the string. So that means that the red pencil is longer than the blue pencil. Okay, and let's do some to practice here. So number 1 they did for us, and here's number 2. And they give, for the third object, they give it to us. So here our third object is a red crayon. So that's what we're going to use, because we're comparing this, looks like a glue stick maybe, and feather. And they're not next to each other. So to compare them, we're going to use the red crayon that they lined up for us. And when we do this, we can draw like an imaginary line, and to see that that crayon is shorter than the feather. And over here, if we make a kind of an imaginary line, that crayon is longer than the glue stick. So because we know that, we're using that crayon to help us, and we can circle the object that is longer. Has to be the feather. Right? So on page 675, you're doing the same thing. You're circling the object that is longer, and you're using the yellow string that they drew right on the page, already lined up for you to compare. So you look at the frog with the orange string, and the leaf with the orange string. That string is the same size, so you should be able to circle which one's longer. Same with the scissors and the stapler, circle the longer one. The book and the toothpaste, and the toothpaste and the stapler. So use that orange string on the paper to help you. Number 7, use the objects in items 5 and 6. So we're looking right here, we got book, toothpaste, and stapler, to fill in the blank. The book is longer than so is it longer than the toothpaste or longer than the stapler? So you'd fill that in. The toothpaste is longer than the book or stapler. So the book is blank than the stapler. So that's where we're going to write longer or shorter, right? On the back, we have some problem solving. Number 8, I like this one. These are fun. So you use the clues to figure out the name of each dog. So write the name under the correct dog. So we have 3 dogs here: Bongo, Turbo, and Tango. And they give us some clues. They tell us that Tango is taller than Bongo, and that Turbo is shorter than Bongo. So we're going to try to make sense of these clues and plug in which dog we think is each one of these names. Number 9, Josh has 2 crayons and a piece of string. Explain how he can compare to determine which is the longer crayon without putting the crayons together. Well, that's what we just talked about. You can use that string and measure the same size string up against both of them, and that will help you to determine which one is longer and shorter. Number 10, circle the candle holder that is the longest using the blue string to help. So here's the blue string they give us, and we need to figure out which one of these is longest. Okay, and on page 677, it's more practice with the same thing. So it tells you you can compare the length of 2 objects without putting them next to each other. Saying, I can use the table to tell if the couch or the bookcase is longer. The couch is longer than the table. That's easy to see. The bookcase is shorter than the table. That means that the couch is longer than the bookcase, because how could it be shorter? So number 1 and number 2, you're using the red string on the bottom as a tool to figure out which one. And this time on the other page, we circled the one that was longer. We're circling the shorter ones here. So that's probably the hardest part about this is making sure that we're doing what the question asks us, because they like to switch it up and trick us, but we're too smart for that. So on the number 1 and number 2, we were circling the shorter one. And on the back, with some more practice with the same thing. So we're circling the object that is shorter. And we're using the purple string to help us. So we see how that is in relation to the purple string, how big that is in relation to the purple string, and circle the shorter. Same here, here, and here. And number 7, Andrea has 3 candles. Explain how she can use the yellow candle to find out the red candle shorter or taller than the blue candle. So how can she use this candle to figure that out, right? And number 8, circle the shape that is longer. So here, that's what I mean. They're switching it. Up here we were looking for shorter, now longer. And we're using the orange string to help us. So I think that you should be able to do that without many problems. The most important thing is to make sure that you're paying attention, close attention to what it is that they're asking you. Are they asking you for the shorter or the longest? Because that does make a big difference. Okay? All right, good luck.